Good evening, friends. I am present here today before you with a new topic on tenses, that is past continuous tense, which is also known as past progressive and past imperfect tense. The form I have already written here, it is already written here. The form I am telling you what should be. The form is subject plus was or were plus V1 plus ing plus object. Subject plus was or were plus V1 plus ing. Let us take some example. First example I am giving you here, that is boys were throwing stones at the frogs. Boys were throwing stone at the frogs. Number 2, people were shouting outside the temple. The girl was singing a song. See here, I have given you these examples. Boys were throwing stones at the frogs. People were shouting outside the temple. The girl was singing a song. The baby was crying. The baby was crying. See here, subject plus V1 plus subject was V1. One thing I can add here, the baby was crying very loudly. That also can be said, the baby was crying very loudly. Now here you see, everywhere the form is matching. Subject was or were plus V1 plus ing object. Now here frogs. People were shouting outside the temple. The girl was singing a song. The baby was crying very loudly. I can, in place of the baby was crying very loudly, I can write here my brother was listening to the cricket commentary. My brother was listening to the cricket commentary. See, my brother was listening to the cricket commentary. Everywhere we can find there is subject plus was or were plus V1 plus ing plus object. Now, what should be the condition of using past continuous tense? Here I am writing the rule. It is used to denote an action which was continuing in the past for some time. See, what I have used here, or what I have written here, the condition for using past continuous tense. It is used to denote an action which was continuing in the past for some time. Boys were throwing stones at the frogs. Yes, denoting an action which was continuing in the past for some time. People were shouting, continuing in the past for some time. Here also the girl was singing, continuing in the past for some time. My brother was listening to the cricket commentary, that too, was continuing in the past for some time. So here it is used to denote an action which was continuing in the past for some time. Used to denote an action which was continuing in the past for some time. Remember friends, past continuous tense is not at all difficult. You should remember only this one. It is used to denote an action which was continuing in the past for some time. I have given you the example to prove the form. So boys were throwing stones at the frogs. People were shouting outside the temple. The girl was singing a song. My brother was listening to the cricket commentary. See, here all these examples I have given you. One thing you remember, that is, in present continuous tense, I told you there should be now or the sense of now. Here I can say that in past continuous tense, there may be then or the sense of then. Boys were throwing stones at the frogs then. It cannot be now or anything else. So there in present continuous, there was now or the sense of now. Here we can say that there is then or the sense of then. So here past continuous tense is not that much difficult. Actually, it is very easy. Remember the form and try to make use of it correctly. Now, I am going to tell you another important thing. See friends, I have come to the discussion of the use of when and while. Friends, you very often make mistakes regarding use of when and while. You hardly bother about using while, and in most cases you use when, because maybe that you do not know the difference between the use of when and while. I would like to make it very clear so that you can make use of when and while very, accurately or correctly. So I am just giving you some examples. Here I am giving you some examples. You just see. Example 1. My mother called me for dinner. My mother called me for dinner. I was doing my homeworks. Here it should be when or while. Number 2. Father entered the room I was watching TV. Father entered the room blank. I was watching TV. Here another example I am taking. You see, that is, I was watching TV. Father entered the room. While it started raining, children were playing. Next one. Sumit was looking outside the window See here, I have taken these few examples. My mother called me for dinner, blank, I was doing my homeworks. Father entered the room when or while I was watching TV. I was watching TV, blank, father entered the room. It started raining, blank, children were playing. Children were playing. Children were playing when or while it started raining. It started raining. Sumit was looking outside the window when or while the teacher was teaching. See here, what I can say. Whether here should be when or while, here when or while. Now, just I am giving you the rule so that you can immediately understand whether there should be when or where there should be when or while. Now, the rule I am giving you. If the action started and was continuing, use while. If the action started earlier, and was continuing, use while. use while. Is it? And then see here, if the action started and ended soon, use when. If the action started and ended soon, use when. Use when. Now let us see. Let us see the rule, and accordingly let us try to fill up when and while in the blanks. My mother called me for dinner, blank, I was doing my homeworks. See, my mother called me for dinner, blank, I was doing my homeworks. It means I started doing my homeworks and it was continuing when my mother called me for dinner. I started doing my homeworks earlier and was continuing when my mother called me for dinner. So as per rule, here it should be while I was doing my homeworks, and here when should not be. Father entered the room, blank, I was watching TV. So I started watching TV earlier and it was continuing even when father entered the room. So it started earlier and was continuing even when father entered the room. So here also it should not be when, rather it should be while. It should be while. In the same way, it started raining when the children were playing. Children started playing earlier and it was continuing even when it started raining. So here also it should not be, here there is a continuation. So here should be while children were playing. Is it? While children were playing. Children were playing when or while it started raining. See, it started raining, there is no continuation, it started and ended soon. So here it should be children were playing when it started raining. When it started raining, that means it started, there is no continuation here. Here should not be while. So children were playing when or while it started raining. There is no continuation. So here it should be when. Sumit here, now here you see, it started raining while children were playing. Children started playing earlier and it was continuing when it started raining. Children were playing when it started raining. Sumit was looking outside the window when or while the teacher was teaching. The teacher started teaching earlier and was continuing. So here it should be while the teacher was teaching. There should not be when. So see here, as per rule, if the action started earlier and was continuing, use while. If the action started and ended soon, use when. So here, once again I am telling, my mother called me for dinner while I was doing my homeworks. Father entered the room while I was watching TV. I started watching TV earlier and it was continuing even when father entered the room. I was watching TV when or while father entered the room. Here it should be while or when. Let us see. Actually, I was watching TV when or while father entered the room. There is no continuation in father's entering the room. So what it should be here? Here it should be when father entered the room. When father entered the room, here it should not be while. It should not be while. It started raining when or while children were playing. The children started playing earlier. It was continuing even when it started raining. Children were playing when it started raining. There is no continuation. It started and ended soon. Now here, Sumit was looking outside the window when or while the teacher was teaching. The teacher started teaching earlier and it was continuing even when he was looking outside the window. So here we can say it is proved. See here, if the action started earlier and was continuing, use while. If the action started and ended soon, use when. If you remember this form, I don't think you will have any difficulty regarding the use of when and while. So here once again I am telling, my mother called me for dinner while I was doing my homeworks. Father entered the room while I was watching TV. I was watching TV when father entered the room. It started raining while children were playing. Children started playing earlier and it was continuing when it started raining. While children were playing. Children were playing when it started raining. Children when it started raining. Sumit was looking outside the window while the teacher was teaching. So here it is clear, if the action started earlier and was continuing, use while. If the action started and ended soon, use when. Now see here, so here, remember the rule. Once again, precisely I am telling you. Precisely I am telling once again. So here it is, if there is continuation in the action, use while. If no continuation, use when. What I have told you, it is precisely. See here, what I am telling, if there is continuation, in the action, use while. Use while. If no continuation, use when. If no continuation, use when. So here once again I am telling you, or just one more example of giving you. See here, I was reading a novel blank, my friend called me to play. Is there any continuation here? Or not? I was reading a novel, my friend called me to play. There is no continuation in my friend's calling. So here I can say when my friend called me to play. I was reading a novel when my friend called me to play. But if I write here, my friend called me to play see here, my friend called me to play dash I was reading a novel. This action started earlier and was continuing, so it should be here while. So I was reading a novel when my friend called me to play. My friend called me to play while I was reading a novel. This action started earlier and was continuing. So friends, remember what I have told you. If you find continuation in the action, use while. If there is no continuation, use when. Please don't make mistake in the use of when and while. Try to make use of it very correctly. So here I am telling you use of when and while, and I have given you the rule and some examples to prove or to make you sure, make you understand where, when and while to be used. So if there is continuation in the action, precisely I am telling you, here it is precisely I am telling you, if there is continuation in the action, use while. If no continuation, use when. I was reading a novel when my friend called me to play. My friend called me to play while I was reading a novel. Is it? So friends, I think I have made it very clear, and you will not have any difficulty in understanding where you can use when and you can use while. Remember the rule, no difficulty will be there in making proper use of when and while. But hereafter, you must not get mixed up with the use of when and while. Use correctly, is it? Because as far as I think, students make mistakes in its use. Students or you people hardly bother about using while. In maximum, use when. But hereafter, I will hope that you will be using when and while correctly. Is it? So friends, we will meet once again soon in the next class, and then I will come with new lesson, that is past perfect. That is very, very important, and we make plenty of mistakes in the use of past perfect at proper places. So thank you. Good night.